Hey there, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the AfterBuzz TV after show for Secrets and Lies, Season 2, Episode 3, The Liar. Join us tonight as we break down the show and give you our thoughts and predictions.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Can't go wrong with Whitney bringing us in, because as you guys know, tonight's episode is called The Liar, and we are so pumped as usual to talk about it. Guys, I'm Lauren Salaun, and you can find me everywhere online at Lauren Salaun. That last name is spelled S-A-L-A-U-N, and I'm joined tonight by Whitney.
Hi guys, I'm Whitney, and you can find me on Twitter at WhitGetItWhit or Instagram at just plain GetItWhit.
Awesome. Not to confuse you guys.
I know, it's a whole thing.
No, not a problem. Just find her on one of those places. So, guys, if you are listening to us live, we've got the chat up here, and so be sure that you're subscribed to us on YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, and if you're in the chat, talk to us. We want to hear what you guys thought of the episode, and I've got the chat up, so I will be talking to you guys directly this whole time. And if you're listening in on iTunes, be sure to subscribe to us there as well. Tweet to us. We want to know what you guys think of the show. So let's dive on into things.
Let's do this.
So this week's episode is called The Liar because it has all to do with Kate's assistant, Liam, who was a big, fat liar.
Shady.
Yeah.
So shady.
Big old liar. And so we start off our episode with Eric and our mystery man, who apparently his name is Danny. I don't think they say his name the entire time.
I don't either, but I saw that on IMDb. I'm like, nobody said it yet.
That's the only place where I've seen it. Exactly. And so we start off, because last week we left off, he knocks on Liam's door, and there's this guy Danny in there.
And the place is completely trashed, too.
Yes, totally trashed. Danny is obviously also searching for Liam, and he is looking for a girl who was at the party.
Yeah.
And we learn that Kate sent him that photo. So we're not totally sure what exactly is going on here. Like, is this maybe Danny's daughter or something? Because she's 19 years old. Liam apparently knows where she is.
Or he thinks that or he thinks that he knows.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So not entirely sure what's going on there with that situation. And Danny ends up being in the episode quite a bit, actually.
From beginning to end. He's kind of all over the place, shows up a lot of different areas. So
yeah, exactly. And so from that point we move on. Amanda and Eric, they have a little moment. She's kind of given him the cold shoulder because he hasn't really been listening to her.
And I'm like, I wanted to shake her. I'm like, you are her, or you are his sister. Like, come on, help the guy out.
Right. But I get it, because she's like, I'm going to be your sister and be here for you, but I'm also your lawyer, so you got to listen to me. And he wasn't really, he wasn't really listening. So
he was not listening at all.
No. This is true. Not listening at all. And we jump to a flashback at that point with Neil and Kate. So, with Eric, Neil, and Kate. And Eric and Neil are meeting up because Neil just got dumped by his third wife. And we know he's, not very good with the ladies. Or good with the ladies, not good with commitment and relationships.
He's playerish.
Yes, exactly. And Kate shows up at the bar, and we know that Neil and Kate did not exactly get along, or he didn't really like her. And this is clear from the flashback. He's got some smart-ass comment to make to her. And then, Eric and Kate were supposed to have plans that night, and Kate is very understanding. I think all the flashbacks in this episode made Kate look like so cool,
look really cool,
and their relationship so amazing.
Yeah, well, I think it's really good insight into the best friend and Kate's relationship, because Kate was really cool. And he puts on a front like, you're ditching me for your wife. I've known you so much longer. Like, I just got dumped. Thanks a lot for inviting her. And I thought it was so cool that Kate was literally like, you can't be the guy who gets married and dumps all his friends. Like, go be with him. He needs you. And then the kicker when she was like, I got the bill. You need all your ones.
I know.
like,
exactly.
She is so cool. I want to be like Kate.
I know. And all of the flashbacks. I mean, we have that one with her being totally cool and being like, yeah, go blow off some steam with your boy. Be a good friend. And you're like, damn, Kate, she's awesome. And then another one with Kate working late, and you see that, you know, she's kind of a workaholic, totally no big deal. But they have like that kind of intimate, sexy moment.
Yeah.
And so again, another one showing that they still had that romance and that chemistry and things were going on. And we talked about this last week, that the flashbacks are only showing us, you know, they may only be showing us the really amazing moments only from Eric's point of view. So it's not necessarily the whole truth.
They're showing us what we need to see now.
Yes.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? But yeah, with that flashback when she's working, I was like, oh my God, can they be any more perfect? They are so cute.
Right.
And then he's like, stop working. Let's go to the bedroom. She's like,
Yeah. And I mean, they end up doing that. We haven't seen any. We haven't. There was an opportunity for like some steaminess, and there was like a hint of it.
Yeah, they're giving us like a little taste of everything, because we saw them before in the bed together, but it was more like cuddly, like rolling around, nothing like. And I mean, Eric is so hot, so good looking.
He is. I'm sure we'll get some good. Good scenes there. Good flashback scenes for sure.
Yes.
And so with Neil, the stuff kind of continues with Neil. You know, Eric's dad and Neil are meeting at the office, and Eric comes in and kind of, he is caught off guard by this because, you know, he's still coming to work, he's still doing his job, all this stuff, and he wants to be kept in the loop, and he feels like he's been kind of, you know, he's being put on the back burner in a sense because he's got too much to handle. And he makes a comment to Neil again about like how he hasn't really come clean about what was going on with this guy Danny, you know, and why he appeared to know him.
He 100% knows him. He has to know him. He knows I have a feeling like Neil knows about something that's going on that has to do with Kate, whether or not he knows who pushed her or what happened. He knows a taste of something, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And so, you know, there's some of this kind of not going behind the back in a sense, because I understand why John's doing what he's doing. Like, Eric's got a lot of stress. He's coping with his wife's just being murdered. And so they're trying to, you know, keep things rolling. And from a PR standpoint, you know, it's not like
the best.
It may not be the best for him to be kind of front and center all the time. And we see that he goes to have the meeting himself with the client that they were going to kind of, you know, do the meeting. It sounded
like it was
for.
like a very big investor.
Yes.
Like a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this client says, you know, I've been with you guys for 7 years, so I wanted to say it to your face.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't do business with, you know, someone who's accused of murder. And he's like, I wasn't accused yet.
I know. Don't leave me. And I mean, you can totally understand where the company would be coming from as far as investor standpoint. And also John, the dad, you know, you don't necessarily, without saying it, you don't want the face of your company to be potentially going on trial for murdering his wife.
Right. Exactly.
So,
and I mean, I think from this point, Misha in the chat is saying that Eric's dad is making it very hard to think he's innocent. 1 minute you won't accept your son's resignation, and the next minute you're having meetings without him. You know, it does. And I think it's all from this perspective. Again, we've talked about this and how they can make you question every character every second and make, you know, everyone can be a suspect, but then you can also find reasons why they aren't and why the writers might be tricking you. Everything. They do such a good job with this show all the time. My gut feeling is not looking at John as trying to do something sneaky, you know? No. I feel like he's looking out for the company.
Yeah, especially in this episode, to me, it feels like he's trying to be more of a dad than a businessman. And he's trying to kind of look out for his son's best interest while also looking out for his company. But I think he is actually really sincerely empathetic.
Yeah.
To Eric. So
I agree with that. And we have some comments about their mom come up in that discussion.
Finally,
He's saying, I think, it's been so soon. I think you need a little more time. And Eric fires back, oh, well, how much time did you take, for mom? None, pretty much.
Yeah.
And later we see mom in this situation.
Revealed.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been wondering.
And I didn't recognize who the actress was and potential, and so we'll see about that later. But we learn that John goes to visit mom every single every Monday. And in the flashback related to their mom and what's going on, we learned that she was drunk and fell down the stairs and went to the ER. Yeah. And the kids had to call the ambulance. Like, all three of them are sitting there and
waiting for dad.
Yeah, waiting for their dad to come. And so it's like John pretty much avoided the situation, was pretty absent, and just like dove full on into work to deal with the whole thing. Yeah. And that he hasn't necessarily moved on from what happened either. And I think their mom's in a coma is what the situation is.
Yeah, I think she's obviously been like that, it seems, for decades, because it's because Patrick, Eric's brother, later on in the show mentions that he was 7 when she fell. And we know that Eric's older than that. And it shows, I thought it was kind of a touching moment and kind of shows maybe their relationship that they had with their mom and why they are the way that they are now, visiting her and things. Because Eric, in the flashback, he's obviously the oldest one. Right. You see like a tear come down and the sister is like holding his hand, like, don't cry, it's okay, we're together, So, and now Eric and Amanda are pretty tough on not going to visit mom, not really talking about mom very much, and Patrick's like the baby, and Patrick's like, but she's mom. Right,
and he he didn't have a relationship with her at all, and points that out. Yeah. And hold on, Misha. Misha has some thoughts about the mom too. Yes,
Misha.
If you see Eric's face when the doctor's talking to the father as his sister grabs his hand, suspect. Oh. You think that Eric did something to the mom? I didn't even go there.
My mind did not wander there at all, but that is very interesting, and that could be a huge twist. Yeah. Maybe that's why he doesn't visit her, because he's so guilty. He's plagued with guilt.
I don't think that that's possible. I think he's a good guy. I mean, I think that's it's an option. Yeah. I don't feel in my heart that it's what's happening.
I don't either, but I like that she took it there.
Yeah, me too. Misha, I like where you go with this stuff. You're looking at all the possibilities, just like we are in here. That's awesome. So that's kind of the deal with mom. So we don't get, we see her, we kind of get more of what the situation is. So she's alive, but not, obviously not
coherent,
really
not there.
Conscious. Yeah. So that's our mom situation. We get so let's talk about Liam, which is like the bulk of this episode. So May comes in and Liam's been missing since the party,
which is super suspicious.
Oh, exactly. If he had something to do with Kate's murder, if he knows, how she was caught up in this stuff, and maybe he's a victim in some way. We don't know what the situation is. Yeah. We do know that this man, Danny, our mystery man with the gun that's always running around beating people up and breaking into things, that he is looking for Liam as well, because he's trying to find this girl. Yeah. And so that's kind of where we're at with Liam. May comes in, however, and brings kind of this file. She's done a little research on Liam and hands Eric his resume and has all these notations on it, including a red circle around his name. And she's like, these are all the things that I
found that are wrong.
Yeah,
it's like lies. When you're in elementary school and you just like get a really bad grade and it's all red. Yeah. It's very sad.
Exactly.
I was like, get it, girl.
Right?
You're doing your due diligence.
I know. Great job, May.
Yeah, May.
And Eric ends up kind of drawing the conclusion that Liam was Kate's son.
See, and this is what's weird to me. Okay, because we know that he used the name of somebody who has passed on. Because May said that the name and, did she say the social?
The name and the social are linked to this person, Liam, who was a real person but died, I forget what year, but this Liam character and the guy that they hired would be about the same age as Kate's son.
Which is crazy.
Right.
So then it makes you think that in that case, Liam obviously picked that name for a reason. So he knows some of Kate's history.
Right.
And that makes me think that maybe that's why Kate bypassed everything.
Well, Kate did the background checks, saw what was on it, and hired him anyway.
Yeah.
Because she believed that this Liam imposter guy is her son. Not that Liam, the
See,
Liam
I got really
character.
confused. That whole thing was a little confusing to me. I rewatched it too, and
Right.
I'm like, what?
I watched the episode like 3 times, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this Liam imposter took a real person Liam's identity.
Okay.
And it is believed that Liam imposter is actually the son, not dead real Liam.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
Does this make sense?
And so when Kate got his information and hired him, she did a background check like you would with anyone.
And figured out, oh, this person's full of crap, you know.
But I have an inkling that it could be the son that I got rid of a long time ago.
Yes, that this kid who's lying about everything could be
Yes.
my son, and he could have tried to find me this way
Gotcha.
somehow. And we get that. I mean, Patrick even says in the episode, you know, nothing got by her. She wouldn't slip up this way.
Yeah.
And Eric's like, yeah, I don't think she slipped up. I think she knew all along and
Yeah.
was okay with it.
Yeah,
is the
and
thing.
that's dangerous because now with a lot of their investors are, you know, stuff's going wrong with their accounts and their information's
yes.
getting leaked, and you know, it kind of all points to Liam or whoever might have Liam if he's a victim in this, or who knows.
Right, exactly. And yeah, so the thing with all the fraud, I mean, Kate's got a voicemail and it's from somebody in the company from the fraud department, and credit cards are being opened for clients, and all this stuff is happening that's pretty shady. So this Liam kid is basically stealing from the company and stealing from the investors, and so that's a big freaking deal.
Oh, that's a huge deal. This could destroy their entire company.
Yeah, oh yeah, completely. Not only do they have the PR mess of, you know, Kate dying and Kate being
Eric,
killed and people thinking Eric did it, but now Kate's illegitimate child imposter has been
taking everyone's
fraud.
money. Yeah. And another part with the whole fraud thing that I thought was interesting, which I guess I can understand, it just treads on a very dangerous line, is John, when Eric goes and tells John about it in the hospital.
Yes.
And Eric wants to go tell the cops, right? That's who he wanted to tell. And John's like, do not tell the cops. Like, this is between us. We will fix it. Do not go to the police.
Which, that was a little interesting to me because Eric's been so following the plan of like, let's deal with things kind of internally first and then maybe decide what we present to the police. And he was so quick to want to go to the police with this that it seemed a little... Well, I wasn't surprised by John saying, no, we're dealing with this. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and see, I was kind of surprised because to me, Eric was looking more like, I need to save the company. This is the right thing to do. We need to nip this in the bud now because who knows what could, if we wait and sit on it, who knows what could happen. And the dad, who, I don't know, I was just confused at why he wouldn't want that. It made me think that maybe he knows a little more, or he has a suspicion or something and he doesn't want to go to the cops for an actual reason other than it getting out.
Right.
So
I felt that a little way too, because and this is how they set us up. You know, if somebody is suspicious about something and they're wanting to conceal some sort of information, you always have to wonder what they're hiding. But yeah, I trust John, and I feel like I'm gonna be made a fool of for that.
Who knows? I mean, he has a very trustworthy face.
I know,
he's like
Terry O'Quinn,
the dad that you just want, you know?
Exactly. So I don't know, but Misha has a good point in the chat. How did he not know about the fraud going on? I mean, at his level, he's so high up that they're not going to notify him of every little thing. And I think we see in the video surveillance footage that Liam is leaving the office with this stack of files. So it seems like this has all kind of been happening more recently.
Yeah, because also when Eric is in Kate's office, we see that he pulls out a couple different file folders, and he said these are the latest things that she's been working on, and the message was actually about fraud of one of the folders that he's holding.
Right.
So it is pretty new, and it kind of looks like Kate's job might have been kind of the first step in prevention.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's why
she
the
was
dad
like
didn't
the
know.
internal affairs type.
Yes. Okay.
Type person. Yeah, like compliance. So she's like the people that you don't really like at the company, like HR type thing.
Yeah.
They're cracking down on everybody. Not that they shouldn't be if people are doing things
Yeah,
wrong,
it's
but
their job.
you know, they're like the keep everyone in line type people. So that's our situation with Liam, and we'll kind of, well, not completely. We end up, like I said, with the surveillance footage. We see Liam leaving the house. He gets in, or the office during the company party with a box of files. He gets into a mysterious car that Eric snaps a picture of. He snaps a picture of the license plate, and later in the episode asks Amanda to look it up. She does this for him and gets an address. Eric goes to the house to look for Liam, and a girl answers. She looks shaken up.
You can tell that somebody's behind the door because she's kind of giving hints.
Yeah, the whole time I'm like, someone's in there.
Yeah.
She is under duress.
Yeah.
You know? And of course she opens the door and it's freaking Danny there.
Of course he's there. See, this is what I don't understand. Why are these two men 2 steps above cops? Like 2 steps faster. And like with the surveillance footage, the whole time when Eric was looking at it, my first reaction was, why didn't the cops think of this, and why don't they have it? Like that would be kind of procedure, right?
We don't know who has the surveillance footage.
Because I thought it was the building that they're in, because the building had cameras on the outside to see who comes in and out.
Right, but when he went to ask them for the footage, they say, oh, there's a gap here. Somebody took it. We're missing the footage from the party. Weird how that happened.
You think maybe the cops have it? Or
No,
you think that
because
somebody erased it?
Someone who's involved snatched that footage. So he gets it right at the beginning and right at the end of it. And he is able to see Liam leaving right there at the end while all the commotion's going on with the files and catch it that way.
Yeah. Did you see in the surveillance footage too that weird lady that he kind of paused on for a second when he was watching it at home? There was a lady who,
oh, I don't remember.
She resembled May in a way, but I don't think it was May. And she stood on the outside of the steps and looked up at the roof for a little while. It was very, very paused. And then she walked in, and it was a little suspicious, but I mean, it was same body type as May, same color hair, but I don't think it was the same face.
I did not notice that. I'll have to go take a look again. No.
So now I'm a little suspicious of that random person in the surveillance footage, because who would look up at the ceiling and just stand there?
Or the roof? But it was after.
I know it was before, because right after you see footage of Eric and Amanda arriving together, and then it goes to the flashback.
Oh.
It's weird.
Interesting.
It's a little weird.
Interesting. Fantasy stats guru in the chat says #trust no one. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's you trust no one, and everyone's a suspect always, all the time. So we get this at the kind of that we close out the episode with Eric, and Danny, and now this mystery girl, and Danny's pretty much like, oh, she knows where Liam is, but she's not talking.
Not yet.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, what are you going to do to her?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do anything.
Right?
I think
Because
she's going to talk.
She's a girl.
Yeah. Oh, Misha noticed that lady. She stared for a while. Okay.
See, but
who's that lady?
Misha, who could she be? Because it's not May, right? Can't be May. I couldn't make out the face. It's killing me. And remember when we had the guest in? What's her name?
Oh, why am I?
We had the actress who
forgetting?
plays May, and she was giving us
McNally was here.
Yeah, I love her name. I couldn't think of it though. When she was here, she was kind of telling us my character gets more involved as the episodes go on, and she kind of left it open to a little bit of a mystery.
Right, but if it were May who was looking up like that, I'm sure we would know that. She seems very forthcoming with information and very helpful.
Trust no one.
I know. I don't doubt May. Come on. She loves the family. She's so good about everything.
we think.
Alrighty, so that's our like kind of Liam situation. Do we think that Liam is the son?
I don't personally think that Liam is the son.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's definitely, I don't know, maybe this Liam character who did die isn't even Kate's son. Like, maybe,
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe he like just adopted this, I don't know. It has to have something to do though with Kate and her past. So it could definitely be it, but I don't think it's really him. I think he's just using the name.
Yeah, I feel like it would be too easy and too convenient.
I'm telling you, I'm so confused because the first episode, remember I said, oh my God, the previews shows all kinds
baby
of
killed her.
sex
Yeah.
and drugs and like Patrick's wife, who I can never remember her
Melanie.
name. It starts, I can't remember Melanie. I don't know why. It's so hard
okay.
for me. But Melanie's like in bustiers and lingerie and I thought it was like this big family conspiracy, and now every week I have no idea, and I'm thinking different things.
Well, don't worry, they're going to change it for us every single week from
they're
here on
doing
out.
so
And
well.
like we said, I think in our first show that even the actors and stuff weren't sure who did it until like the very end.
Yeah.
Because they had kept
It's
things in the
secret.
dark, you know.
I like that.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Okay. So that's our kind of Liam situation. We have another situation with we had a lot of new people this week. So we, Liam, Danny, this new random girl. We have the ex-girlfriend, Tina Sawyer. So
Crazy.
yes.
Crazy lady.
And so Eric sees her outside the station and kind of like he freaks out a little. Like
Yeah.
he's like stopped in his tracks and kind of like
Yeah.
doesn't say anything or do anything, which I thought was kind of
That's
bizarre.
when she's walking, right?
Right, when she's walking.
Yeah.
And talks to Amanda about it, kind of gives Amanda the scoop about how they dated for a few months. He broke it off. She would not take no for an answer, was harassing him, like phone, text, emails, and then showed up in his apartment one day with all bruised up
That
and
is
threatening to
psycho.
tell
Cops.
the cops that he did it to her. Yeah.
If he didn't get back
Crazy.
together with her.
Yeah, you're like
that is terrifying. I couldn't even imagine being in that situation. Poor
Yeah.
guy. That is psycho. I
Ooh.
can't even believe there's people like that out there.
Yes, I know, and because people do that, which is really depressing. So Cornell calls Eric to come in and asks kind of what's your side of the story, and he refuses to tell her. And Amanda in that scene, I don't know if it was necessarily her being like, oh shoot, my brother's being ballsy and standing up to Cornell, because I think she definitely approves of him not gushing all this info and not talking. But it did catch her a little off guard, and we get that line that was used in the promos and stuff last week of like, if you're gonna arrest me, come and get me, sort of thing.
Get me, yeah.
And she does like a very dramatic like, are you saying that you're refusing to cooperate with the investigation?
Yes.
And
Cornell's finest.
yeah, I love it. And so now they're kind of at odds, which you think would set us up for a lot of conflict between Cornell and Eric throughout the rest of the episode and then like in the next few episodes, but it doesn't.
Does kind of the opposite.
Exactly. So not Cornell, but Eric later finds what's her name? Tina Sawyer has come into his
apartment
building. Yeah. And she clearly is a little nutty. There are people in the hallway looking at her.
Screams at the
She's
neighbors.
Like, stop staring. Like, mind your own business. I didn't kill his wife.
Yeah.
You're like, why would you just blurt that out?
Stop it. You're acting psycho.
Yeah. And he looks kind of terrified.
He
by
does
this
look
situation.
so terrified.
He looks so scared of her. I was surprised by that this episode, like terrified of her. And yeah, so we don't really, it's, I don't know why he's so scared of her.
Well,
but
yeah, I mean, I kind of can understand why he'd be so terrified of her. If you walked into your apartment and saw an ex with like battered and bruises and was like, if you threatened you, basically, you'd be like, this person is a nutcase.
Right.
I
would tell my neighbors like, hey, please stay right here because this woman is crazy and she's harassing me.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that you see me not hurt her because I won't, but she'll say,
I'm not going to touch her, but I need witnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and we learn that he takes out a temporary restraining order, and Cornell is supportive of that, and also says that she asked to lengthen the restraining order, and so this whole time you're like, what the heck is she up to? Like, why is she being so nice to him? She's trying to. It's totally a tactic. Like, it may not be a trick, but it's definitely a strategic move on her part.
Yeah, I do believe that as well. And remember when Tina Sawyer was in the building, she was like, don't worry, I didn't tell her anything. Mm-hmm. But then when Cornell met up with Eric in the beginning, it was like, tell me everything, give me your side. And it made it seem like Tina had like,
oh yeah, but she's being sneaky about that.
She is.
Cornell.
She's trying to.
You don't know.
Yeah. She's trying to gain trust definitely with Eric and Amanda right now, because she's gotten Amanda kind of fooled, it seems like, because when they left, Amanda's like, this is amazing. You're no longer a suspect. She would not go to bat for you.
Right? Yeah.
I don't trust that.
Because we learned, obviously, Tina's done this before. So, yeah, Cornell being on their side. And Amanda doing that was like, girl, what happened to you being so skeptical this whole time and wary of Cornell? And one move, she's saying, oh, yeah, you're right. This woman's crazy. I'm going to help you get a stronger restraining order. Why does that change your entire perspective of Cornell and her support or belief in you guys, and the fact that Eric's now not a suspect? I'm sorry. She never said he's not a suspect.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, she's going to look at other leads. That was really
weird. As like a smart lawyer.
Yeah.
That's weird. Maybe she was just trying to make Eric feel a little like more comfortable or something.
Exactly. I think she's just, I don't know, because that's not the case. I'm sorry. I think it's a trick on Cornell's part to have Eric lower his guard a little bit and mess up and do something, and she'll be right there to catch him when it happens. Because Amanda even's like, make sure you don't even jaywalk, don't do anything, because Cornell's off your back, so you can just be like perfect. And of course that's like such foreshadowing of like he's gonna go off and do
all kinds of crazy stuff,
insane stuff.
Well, and then the end you can see, because Danny's like, are you gonna come in or not, when they're in the house with that girl?
Yeah.
And he like is going in, so
yes,
tell some stuff's going down.
I think he and Danny are going to be buddy actually. I think.
Yeah, but I think Danny's a good guy.
Yes, I agree. So we've got another person, a kind of new person that entered the picture last week, and we saw more of this week, and that is Shane Campbell, who was Kate's ex-boyfriend. And if we remember, Eric saw them eating at a restaurant together. It seemed pleasant. It wasn't necessarily flirty or, clear lines weren't being crossed. It was friendly.
From what we saw, but at the same time, if your husband was out with his ex-girlfriend and like you didn't know it was behind your back, it'd be like,
what's up with that?
Wait a second, why didn't you tell me? Something's a little fishy here. Why are you hiding,
Oh, yeah, for sure. and we end up, Eric goes to the motel where, he believes Kate and Shane were, and shows a picture of Kate. The motel guy says, yes, she was here. We end up where Eric goes to Shane's store. Oh, yeah. And to his shop, and he's about ready to like go in there and like pound this guy, like lose it. So here we get a little glimpse of Eric's temper, perhaps. And he stops. He doesn't go in there because he has a flashback of when he hit, what's his name, that kid that he killed. Yeah. And so he cools off, he leaves. Shane sees him, and then later Shane comes in and kind of like, tries to clear the air. Right. He comes in and he, when Patrick and Eric are hanging out and stuff, and to clear the air, and I think he did clear the air. He said that Kate contacted him to get some tracking software installed on her iPad, and that he assumed that it was like to keep track of a wandering husband,
and so he
hit on her.
As you do.
Because her marriage is in trouble. So he's like, hey, you look good. Want a date? And said that she turned him down, which is like, we're like, yeah, good. And that was kind of it. He looks like he's sincerely apologetic about the whole situation. And I mean, I believe him. I don't think there's any reason for us not to. I think he did like the gentleman thing and kind of like cleared the air with Eric, because that's really important as like a husband. When your wife's not around anymore, you don't want to cast suspicion. So I think it was really good of him to show up and like tell him what really happened, so he knows. Exactly. And Cornell knows that Kate was using tracking software, which I found interesting, because I know that we know she has Kate's phone and laptop, I believe, but that's it. And she asks about whether or not Kate had any other devices. Yeah. And she knows Eric's lying about something, because he says no, and you see Amanda be like, make some face of like, oh, really? Yeah. Oh gosh, she's lying, and Cornell's like, oh, interesting. Well, Kate had 2 iPads, remember? Yes, the white one and the secret new one we found. Yes. So I'm wondering, does Cornell, so which tracking device, or which device has the tracking software on it? I'm assuming it's the one that was locked up, the one that's the new thing. I think it's the black new one. But I think her phone probably had something on it too, or her laptop in some way, because if Cornell knows about it and Cornell doesn't know about the extra laptop, then something else has to have tracking software on it. And I'm like, so we know from what Eric gathers, she was actually at the motel with the tracking device trying to track the money that she took out, I think it was $100,000 that she withdrew from his account, and we found out in the first episode, and she was trying to find whoever she gave it to get the money back, or did she have the money and she was trying to track? See, that part was a little confusing, how they jumped to that, because we know that the motel is very close to the money drop point. So she's looking for it, but did she get tracking software to plant some sort of tracking on the money as maybe. Well? There's a lot. I hope they kind of clear that up, because it's not totally making sense for me either. I'm a little confused with the money and the motel location and all that stuff. But like, what was she going to do with the tracking software if she didn't even tell her husband that she pulled out the cash? Who was she going to give the information to on where the cash went? Was she going to take care of it herself? Right. I mean, and it seems so bizarre. I mean, we know that Eric didn't want to give in to the person blackmailing them, and so she's trying to like circumvent him and do it secretly so he doesn't have to worry about it and stress about it. So I guess I get that, but it seems like she's going through a lot of hoops to figure this out, and being a little too like sneaky, like spy girl. It's confusing. So that's kind of our situation with Shane. I don't know that we'll see him much more. Yeah, I couldn't imagine, unless there's more to do with the tracking. Like, I don't know, unless there's some other stuff that Shane's involved in. We saw a lot from Patrick this episode as well. And Patrick, we learned that he, I think, respected Kate a lot. And I think it's in an upcoming promo where he's talking to Cornell and she's kind of questioning him. And he says, like, I would never do anything to Kate. She's the only person in our entire family who like sent my wife a birthday card sort of thing, stuff like that. And so, and even in this episode, he is respectful of her, and he's like, oh, she always had all these systems, like there's no way she would have messed up, and being very helpful for Eric and being kind of Eric's support person. We've seen so far that Patrick is the party boy, kind of loose cannon, I love him. Not very reliable. I know. And here in this episode, he's kind of being Eric's sidekick and picks him up from the bar and makes him pancakes. Yeah, I mean, how could you not love a brother who makes you? Those pancakes look so good. Right, I know. It's like, wow, I haven't had pancakes in a long time. Yeah, so we see a lot from him, and I like that we see a different side than just his like the party boy drinking in the middle of the day, not really doing work sort of thing, sleeping on the couch. Yeah, at the office. Exactly. So that was nice, and I feel like he's like the innocent little brother, you know, party boy, but like it's harmless,
like all innocent.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, so we're left again with a lot of questions, new characters and new directions to go in. Ultimately, I did feel like this episode, it did introduce a few new things to us, but the pace of it wasn't as fast, I felt like, as the last 2 weeks. I mean, we're only in episode 3, so it's fine if we have like kind of a calmer episode, but it did deal, like the whole time was just about figuring out the Liam situation, really.
Yeah, I think it just introduced us to more information, like with Liam, and then also the mom too, because that has been something that we've talked about every single week, like what's wrong with the mom, where is she, like, you know, so we got background on that too, which opens up doors to the kids' relationships and why they are the way they are and things like that. So exactly.
So I think, I mean, we're right about at time here. Wow, it's always when we go in, when you have like conspiracy theories and like everyone's a suspect, all this stuff, and you know,
time flies
talking about secrets and lies. It's awesome.
It is.
So let's kind of talk about some predictions here.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Awesome. So as far as next week's goes, I did not watch the teaser, but I've got a synopsis of what we get next week. So I'm going to read it to you guys. Eric discovers that he and Danny have more in common than he first believed. The two get closer to finding Liam, but they aren't the only ones who've been hot on his trail. At work, things begin to unravel when Patrick fails to cover for Eric at a big meeting, and they get swept up in Detective Cornell's web of interrogation. And just when Eric begins to get some answers, he's confronted by a huge betrayal, leaving him speechless.
You are really good at reading.
Thank you. I went to college, but I learned to read before then.
There you go.
Okay, so that's what I was talking about with Patrick and Cornell and him getting questioned. Like, she challenges him on his drinking, says like, oh, well, maybe you were blacked out during the party and did something and you don't remember exactly. And he, you know, says in this promo that I watched, you know, the thing about how Kate was kind of one of his favorite people and like she was so amazing and all this stuff, and not in like a he's secretly in love with her way. It seemed like in a like big sister,
a genuine
friend kind of
family,
way.
Big sister love.
Right. And he's like, I wouldn't even forget that if I was like, I wouldn't forget about that and who she is, even if I was like blackout drunk. Yeah. You know? And so I mean, my money is not on Patrick at all.
Me either. But when you were reading that, I was like, there goes the responsible Patrick we were just talking about.
Right. So he fails to cover for Eric. I mean, but now we know that Eric's going to go off and do some baloney.
Yeah. Well, I did watch the previews for next season.
Oh, you did?
Or for next episode. Whoa, I'm going way too fast. But yeah, so I don't know exactly what's going on, but there is a little glimpse that Eric and Danny are out doing something.
Right.
And Eric is in his car on his way out. It's like, it kind of looks like a dark alley to me or something. And Cornell, all of a sudden you see burp, 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 like the, I didn't do very good at those police sirens, but yeah, there you go. You've heard them more than I have, maybe. But Cornell gets out and she's like, we have to stop meeting like this, Eric.
She always says that to them.
I know.
I think that's like a Cornell line.
She's just so good.
Yeah.
Those one-liners that she has, she really delivers.
And the stare.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So he's going to get in a little trouble. I have
Yeah, and it sounds like he's going to be pretty, like, desperate to prove that he's innocent and, you know.
Yeah, but I know.
Like, who do we think betrays him? I don't think
Eric?
Oh. Yeah. I mean, that's what the synopsis says. Confronted by a huge betrayal. Do we think it's something Kate did, or
I think it has to be
family member?
It has to be somebody who's at least a family member, if not his wife, because that makes it in my head.
Narrow it down, Whit.
I think that maybe John, because if your dad betrays you, that's a huge betrayal,
right?
Especially with the company.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be Patrick. I don't think Amanda's going to sell him out.
No, I don't think it's Neil. He's already a little questionable for Neil now.
I think it could, maybe John does something bad.
Possibly. Or we find out about something
that Amanda did.
or that John did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is so random, but I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Okay, Amanda, I kept feeling like we might see like peeks into the drug habit, the prescription drug
yeah,
situation that we
forgot
saw.
all
We
about
didn't
that.
at all. She wasn't sweaty or anything. I feel like in most of the scenes we saw of her, she was eating though. And I was like, is this eating a clue? Like, I'm a crazy person.
I didn't even notice.
That's how this show
Oh.
makes you think. I'm like, she's been eating in 3 scenes so far.
And people on drugs don't eat.
No, I'm like, why is she snacking so much? I don't know. See, I'm just now turning in
that
crazy
is,
theories.
Why did that does kind of confuse me? Why did they introduce that so like in the first episode, and then now we're on episode 3 and it hasn't really gone back?
Yeah. I mean, I
weird.
bet we'll see more.
We were very suspicious of that too. She was sweating like nobody sweats.
Yeah, buckets
Of
and
sweat.
now she's just eating a lot. So there's a lot of like
Emotions.
I mean, not eating a lot. She's eating like a normal human, but
Yeah, well,
we'll see. We'll see.
people that are dealing with their emotions in a negative way sometimes eat a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe
She's
she
under stress. Sweat stress, drug stress.
There you go.
food
Maybe
stress.
she is shady.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. She's smart enough to get away with it.
Anyway, lots of theories out there. I think that just about does it for this week for us, you guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in with us. And Fantasy Stats Guru, Misha, and the rest of y'all who are in the chat and watching live with us. We love all your guys' theories, too. It makes it so much more fun when you guys chime in with us. Oh, unless she's pregnant. I thought that maybe she was pregnant, too. All the pills and the snacking and the sweating, so that could be something. Anyway, all right, guys, we will be back here next week, same place, same time. Again, be sure you guys are subscribed to us on YouTube and also on iTunes, where you can catch not only this after show, but all the others that we do here at AfterBuzz TV. You guys can find me everywhere online, mainly Instagram and Snapchat at Lauren Salaun. That's LaurenSalaun. And how about you, Whit?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at GetItWit. And if you're looking for me, oh no, I lied. Dang it, I don't have this down. Twitter is Wit, GetItWit. And then Instagram and what's the...
I don't know.
Instagram is GetItWit. Hey, I got it. I have to write it down. It's so
Good
sad.
luck. Good luck finding Whit online.
I do tweet though. Find me.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.